not whether you win or lose. It's how you play the game. And even I roll my eyes a little bit when I hear somebody say that. Saturday was disappointing. Not because you lost, but because of how. Why you lost. You go out there and you go toe-to-toe with a better team and you trade punches with them and give it everything you got and lose 25-0. It's not a bad loss. But you did. You walked out late, most of you. Not some, most of you walked out late. You were complaining about the heat before you even fully got out onto the warm-up field. You continued to complain about one thing or another, being uncomfortable, too hot, too this, too that. We're just 7th graders, they're 7th and 8th graders. And the list of excuses for you not to go out there and give it everything you got just kept growing. And you compiled a really nice story for yourselves all day Saturday that you could tell anybody who asked you how the game went, and you had to tell them that you lost. You had your backup story ready. We lost, but it was hot. Hopefully the person you're talking to is stupid enough not to get the fact that it was just as hot for the other team as it was for you. They were not playing in their own cooler microclimate on Saturday. And we were only 7th graders, and they were a mixed team of 7th and 8th graders. Set aside the fact, and if they weren't at the game, they don't know this, that physically you matched up very well, and you were a more talented team. Hopefully the person that you're talking to doesn't know that, and so they'll say, oh, that makes total sense. And you can convince them. The problem is you're never going to be able to convince yourself. Because you know darn well how that game could have gone Saturday if you'd applied yourself. If you haven't figured it out already, we coaches aren't really out here to coach football. Seems to you that's what we spend all of our time out here with you doing, but it's a means to an end. We're actually trying to coach up young men, young human beings, to be real men and real human beings. And I've got a piece of information for you today that's part of that process. When you grow up to be men, you will be a lot of things to a lot of different people. You will be brothers to some, sons, all of you, husbands at some point, fathers, best friends. You'll be employees, some of you employers, students, you are that now. Some of you that will continue quite a while into the future. And in every one of those roles you play, not one case is going to measure you as a husband, father, brother, best friend, or son when things are easy. That's not when you get measured as a man. It's not when you get measured as a human being, when things are easy. When things are easy, anybody can do it. Nobody bothers to wonder what kind of person you are when things are easy. When you get measured, gentlemen, is when they're hard. When it's hot, You don't get measured as a father when your son's making straight A's. Or your daughter's doing well in school. You get measured when they're doing poorly. Or when they've messed up and they've really gotten themselves in trouble. That's when you get measured. You don't get measured as a husband when everything's great between you and your wife. When times are tough. When you've got disagreements to work through. When you don't see eye to eye. How do you handle it? How do you conduct yourself as a husband and a human being? That's when you get measured. You're going to see me at the end of practice. You can start training yourself for all those moments that really matter down the line. On the football field. This is why we coaches coach. Hopefully to see you go from the group of young men who spent 3.5 quarters of football whining and giving yourselves every excuse to not have to step up and perform, to see you later this year become a team that ignores all that and understands that 88 degrees and high and the sun in your eyes and a group of 7th and 8th graders playing you, this poor little group of 7th graders, is the time you're going to be measured. So you go out on the field, play the best you can, and hopefully come out with a win. But mainly, play the best you can. That's when you're going to get measured, guys. Your whole life. When it's tough. You wilt, you whine, you cry, you quit, you, pardon me parents, half-ass it. In those times, you will not be measured much of a human being, and you will not be measured much of a man.
Why are we fighting inside?
You owe each other so much that you gave on Saturday. You have all worked very hard. One of the guys you're sitting with has poured gallons of sweat onto this field out here. You owe so much more than you gave. And you owe it not to me, not to Roy, and not to Ron, not to your parents. You owe it to your teammates. And Saturday, your teammates would have all loved to have measured you as a football player. For many of you, they could not do that. So when you're ready, promise them, not me, promise your teammates, that the next time it gets tough, they're going to see the very best in you. The next time we're down and facing adversity and things are difficult and uncomfortable and painful, they're going to see the very best that you can bring to this football team. When you are ready to make that promise, put your lid on and walk out there on the football field.
Gonna be the first one.
Gary, you stay with me. Every full contact drill we got,